What's going on, guys? Welcome to another Doctor Who Classic Review. Today I'm going to be reviewing the third Doctor Jon Pertwee story, Death to the Daleks. This is the final story of the Jon Pertwee era, but crazily enough, it's actually the final Dalek story that I have to review on the channel for the Classic series. Other than the Daleks Master Plan and Evil of the Daleks, which aren't available on DVD at the moment, this is the last one on DVD that I have left to review. So once I've reviewed this, I will eventually be doing a ranking of all the Dalek stories, not including Evil of the Daleks and the Daleks Master Plan, just because I'm not really doing those until they've actually been released on DVD in some form. It could still be a little way away yet because I'm going through the ranking episodes, but I may slot it in somewhere in between. Anyway, we're going to be talking about Death to the Daleks today. So this is Death to the Daleks by Terry Nation. A power failure in the TARDIS draws it off course, and the Doctor and Sarah Jane Smith end up stranded on the bleak planet of Exelon. They soon meet members of an Earth expedition in a similar situation. The humans are searching for a rare mineral, but first they must find out what is draining their power and avoid what's inside another grounded spaceship. The Doctor's oldest enemies, the Daleks. So a pretty simple little synopsis on the back of the DVD there, but yeah, it's the Doctor basically gets stranded on this planet because the TARDIS completely loses all power, and they have to go around to try and figure out why their power source has been drained, and in doing that end up finding the Daleks. Well, the Daleks end up coming to the planet actually after the Doctor. So yeah, nice little plot on the back of the DVD there. But anyway, let's get started with the cast. So we've got Jon Pertwee as the third Doctor, who's pretty good in this story. He's definitely nothing spectacular in this one, I don't think. He's definitely had better performances. Keeping in mind this is towards the end of his run, this is his final season with season 11, this being the third story of season 11. There'd only be 2 more stories after this and then he would be done as the Doctor. And yeah, I mean, I don't think you can't tell that he's done with the show. I do know that there was a lot of stuff behind the scenes where Jon Pertwee didn't really like the Daleks. I don't know if he just didn't like them as a concept or he just didn't like working with them in a story. He thought they were just stupid, like tin robot things. I know that for sure. So yeah, this is the third time in 3 seasons in a row that he's seen the Daleks, so I imagine he's probably kind of sick of them by now, and I guess here and there you can see little bits of him not that interested, but on the whole I think Jon Pertwee still puts in a mega good performance, and yeah, he's all around very, very good. Elizabeth Sladen as Sarah Jane Smith is pretty good in this. Once again, she's nothing really to write home about here. This is obviously not too far into her tenure as, Sarah Jane Smith, her being in that role, only her third story. So, yeah, she's okay. She's nothing amazing in this one, I'm going to be honest. That's not really down to Elizabeth Sladen there, that's just down to the writing of her character. She's not bad, but yeah, she gets a bit to do, but not a lot of dialogue here and there. A lot of stuff when she was like captured by the Exelons, but other than that, she doesn't really do a whole lot, but yeah, she's fine with what she's got, I suppose. Alright, so now let's get on to the good and the bad, starting with the good. The TARDIS losing all its power. So that happens right at the start of the episode. The TARDIS is completely pitch black. We have the Doctor and Sarah Jane trying to get the power back on for a few minutes. They get it back on and it drains down. They turn a light switch on and the light goes off. So they end up having to use like an oil lamp, and it's just really cool how dark the TARDIS is as well. I've never seen the TARDIS that dark. When we've seen the TARDIS drain power before, mainly I suppose in the new series, there's still a lightness to it. But in this, it's really, really dark. You can literally see nothing. You can see the characters' faces and a little bit of the TARDIS console. That is it. It's so dark. Maybe nowadays they lighten it up a bit more just because I guess you can see what's going on more, but it's supposed to be pitch black. They can't see anything. All the lights have gone off. So not being able to see hardly anything is really good and it's really effective. And yeah, I was really intrigued at the start of this episode when the TARDIS lost its power. I was thinking, because I've never seen this episode before, I was thinking, what is going on here? What is happening? Why have they lost the power? And yeah, it definitely got me hooked from the start. The Daleks are powerless when they arrive on the planet. So the Daleks show up at the end of part 1, and they are completely powerless. They try to kill everyone, they go exterminate, and their guns, I'm going to be honest, it's a little bit ridiculous. Their guns start making this horrible, like, squelchy noise almost. It's like, it's like a really horrible noise. But they don't do anything because they've lost all the power. Apparently, the power that's draining the TARDIS, and all this power that it turns out this temple kind of city is draining all this power. Apparently that also drains the Daleks' power, which is a bit strange, but I can deal with it. And yeah, the Daleks are pretty much useless, so they have no choice but to kind of team up with the Doctor and these other people that have come over from Earth to this planet to get the mineral that they need. They kind of have to team up with them. But of course, though, it's the Daleks, so they're not planning on teaming up forever. As soon as they've got their power back, they're going to attack. I do think it's a little bit silly that they, the Doctor but mainly the Earth people decide to team up with these Daleks. I mean, from the way the people were talking, it was a bit hard to understand whether these people from Earth knew what the Daleks were or not. The way they were talking, it kind of sounded like they did know what the Daleks were, just the way they were talking. But in doing that, they still kind of trusted them for a long time, and you could tell the Doctor was, not really too happy with it, but at the same time, he wasn't really doing a whole lot to stop a lot of this stuff happening, teaming up with the Daleks. So I felt that was a little bit off, but yeah, generally though, the Daleks losing all that power definitely makes them vulnerable, but at the same time, it didn't really, because they just ended up teaming up with the humans, and they kind of just went along with it, so that was a bit off for me. The Daleks modifying their weapons so that they can work without the power was pretty cool. I don't really know what they did, but they started being able to use, it was more, because when a Dalek shoots, it's like a kind of a ray sort of thing, and it zaps people, whereas when they modified their weapons and they were able to shoot again without the power on, it was more like a gun. It was, when you saw them killing, they were mainly killing the Exelons, it kind of looked like a bullet shot, just the way it looked and the way it hit the person. So I thought that was interesting. It's definitely a Dalek thing. They don't have the power. They're going to figure out a way to get their power back, because then they're even stronger, because all these other people, they don't have the power. If they can have some more power when these other people don't, they're in a better situation. So really cool to see the Daleks kind of working together and figuring out how to be the best, ultimately, I suppose. The Doctor having to solve puzzles to get into the temple, I thought was a pretty interesting thing. Yes, now that looking back on it, it was kind of, I suppose it was more there, because it pretty much took up a whole episode, really, altogether. In the hindsight, it's probably there just for padding. They needed some time to be filled up. The Doctor's got to get into this city, into this temple, but we don't want him to just get there straight away, so we're going to give him some puzzles to do along the way, so it doesn't just take 2 minutes. So yes, ultimately it is kind of padding, but I personally didn't mind it. I thought it was interesting. The whole thing with the thing on the floor, where they had to step in certain directions, cool idea. Now that I look at it, the 5 Doctors use that exact same thing, so the 5 Doctors kind of copied, but yeah, okay. I'm not going to knock this episode down for that. And to be honest, I guess for the 5 Doctors, you could kind of see it as a bit of a callback. It was only a small scene anyway in that. But yeah, it's good. I like the puzzle thing. I do think that it was kind of just there for padding. And then finally, Galloway sacrificing himself to destroy the Daleks was pretty cool. He had that second bomb with him. They had 2 bombs to blow up the temple to get the power back, but he ultimately said, no, we only need 1. We only need 1 to blow up this temple. We don't need both of them. And ultimately he did that because he was thinking, I'm going to go into the Dalek ship and blow it up and sacrifice myself. So yeah, I thought that was, it wasn't too out of nowhere, because you did have the whole thing of him explaining before that he didn't want to use the other bomb, and that played into this, so it wasn't really out of nowhere. Yes, it did end a little bit quickly, but ultimately, yeah, I thought it was a decent end for his character. Although his character wasn't the most likable throughout the whole thing and the most developed, I still think it was a nice little thing. So on to the bad. There are a couple of things to talk about here. The Exelons have awful aim with their bows and spears. Terrible aim. The Doctor and a few of the other people are literally sitting ducks on the sand, not even moving, getting attacked from every single side, and they can't hit. They hit 1 shot when they were just before they even went into that, behind cover, or it's not even really cover. Before they did that, 1 person got shot. Once they were actually in somewhat cover, but not really, because they were attacked from all sides, and literally just sitting completely still, they couldn't hit a single person. and I thought that was, I mean, talk about bloody Stormtrooper aim. It was ridiculous. It was so stupid. The Daleks repeating themselves, it's not as bad here as it has been in other stories. Day of the Daleks did it quite a lot. Destiny of the Daleks that I watched recently did it a hell of a lot. This story does it a little bit. It's not too bad. Now and again the Daleks do repeat themselves a bit too much, but it's definitely not as bad as it was in Destiny of the Daleks, that's for sure. And then finally, a Dalek kills itself because its prisoner escaped? I don't really understand that. I've actually seen that scene before of the Dalek spinning around like, self-destruct, self-destruct, I have failed, and then it just kind of, it doesn't even self-destruct, it just stops. But why did it kill itself? Its prisoner escaped. Why does that warrant it destroying itself? That doesn't seem like a very Dalek thing. Daleks don't want to just go out and kill themselves. That's not, that Dalek, the prisoner escaped, they should have chased after that prisoner and killed them. They shouldn't have just been like, well, they've escaped, guess I'll just die. Doesn't seem right to me. Alright, so a rating for Death to the Daleks, I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10. I'm kind of just giving it an average score. I don't think it's terrible, I don't think it's great, I just think it's okay. It's my least favourite Dalek story of the Pertwee era, but it's not my least favourite Dalek story of all time, not even of the classic series. It's better than Destiny of the Daleks, and for me it's better than Revelation of the Daleks. Personally, I really just don't like that story, where a lot of people do, apparently. But yeah, this one, it's one of the weakest, and it's definitely the weakest of Jon Pertwee's Third Doctor era, but I still think it's just kind of an average story. The Daleks didn't really need to be there, although they were decent in what they were doing. The subplot kind of thing with the, well, I guess it was the main plot with the Exelons was okay, it was decent, and yeah, generally the pacing was okay. Everything was just kind of okay. Nothing was standout, nothing was terrible. It was all just okay. So yeah, I'm going to give Death to the Daleks a 7 out of 10. But anyway, that's going to be it for this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed, please go ahead, like and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, link is in the description, and I'll see you guys in the next video.